This is a Wikipedia video of showing the reconstruction of the Nesher Ramla homotype found in Israel. See that again. And again, this is on Wikipedia, the Nesher Ramla Homo fossils, skull fragment and lower jaw. The Nesher Ramla Homo group are an extinct population of archaic humans who lived during the Middle Pleistocene in modern-day Israel. In 2010, evidence of the tool industry had been discovered during a year of archaeological excavations in the Nesher Ramla site. In 2021, the first Nesher Ramla Homo individual was identified from remains discovered during further excavations. And this is the area right here, north of Jerusalem. More than 6,000 stone tools excavated in the fossil-bearing sediment. The Nesher Ramla Homo population mastered stone tool production technologies previously known among Neanderthals and Homo sapiens. It was led by Zedner, interpreted the presence of this tool industry as evidence of cultural interactions between Nesher Ramla populations and Homo sapien populations. The extinct population living during Middle Pleistocene, widely known as the Middle Pleistocene age, with an international geological time scale. So a new type of Homo, unknown to science, dramatically discovered in Israeli excavation. Tel Aviv University, source on Science Daily. The bones of early humans, unknown to science, who lived in the Levant at least until 130,000 years ago, were discovered in excavations in the Nesher Ramla site, which, as we said, north of Jerusalem, near the city of Ramla, recognizing similarity to other archaic Homo specimens from 400,000 years ago, found in Israel and Eurasia. The researchers reached the conclusion that the Nesher Ramla fossils represent a unique Middle Pleistocene population now identified for the first time. And according to the researchers, the morphology of the Nesher Ramla humans shares features with both Neanderthals, especially the teeth and lower jaw, the jaws, and archaic Homo, specifically the skull. At the same time, this type of Homo is very unlike modern humans, displaying a completely different skull structure, no chin, and very large teeth. Following the study's findings, researchers believe that the Nesher Ramla homotype is a source population, quote-unquote, from which most humans of the Middle Pleistocene developed. In addition, they suggest that this group of the so-called missing population that mated with Homo sapiens, who arrived in the region around 200,000 years ago, about whom we know from a recent study on fossils found in the Misliya cave. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box. 2 teams of researchers took part in the dramatic discovery, published in the journal Science. An anthropology team from Tel Aviv University, headed by Professor Israel Herskovitz, Dr. Hila May, and Dr. Rachel Sarig from the Sackler Faculty of Medicine, and the Dan David Center for Human Evolution and Biohistory Research, and the Shmunis Family Anthropology Institute, situated in the Steinhardt Museum of Tel Aviv University, and an archaeological team headed by Dr. Yossi Seidner from the Institute of Archaeology at the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. The timeline: the Nesher Ramla homotype was an ancestor of both the Neanderthals in Europe and the archaic Homo populations of Asia. Professor Israel Herskovitz said the discovery of a new type of Homo is of great scientific importance. It enables us to make new sense of previously found human fossils, add another piece of the puzzle of human evolution, and understand the migrations of humans in the Old World. even though they lived so long ago in the late Middle Pleistocene, which was 474,000 to 100,000 years ago. The Nesser Ramla people can tell us a fascinating tale, revealing a great deal about their descendants, evolution, and way of life, he said. The important human fossil was found by Dr. Zaidner of the Hebrew University during salvage excavations at the Nesser Ramla prehistoric site in the mining area of Nesher Cement Plant, owned by Len Blavatnik, near the city of Ramla. And digging about 8 meters down, that's about 30 feet, the excavators found large quantities of animal bones, including horses, fallow deer, and aurochs, as well as stone tools and human bones. The international team, led by the researchers from Tel Aviv and Jerusalem, identified the morphology of the bones as belonging to a new type of Homo, previously unknown to science. This is the first type of Homo to be defined in Israel, and according to common practice, it was named after the site where it was discovered, the Nesher Ramla homotype. Dr. Yoshi Zaidner said, "This is an extraordinary discovery. We had never imagined that alongside Homo sapiens, archaic Homo roamed the area so late in human history. The archaeological finds associated with human fossils show that Nesher Ramla Homo possessed advanced stone tool production technologies and most likely interacted with the local Homo sapiens. The culture, way of life, and behavior of the Nesher Ramla Homo are discussed in a companion paper also published in Science Journal." Professor Herskowitz adds that the discovery of the Nesher Ramla homotype challenges the prevailing hypothesis that the Neanderthal originated in Europe. He said, "Before these new findings, most researchers believed the Neanderthals to be a European story, in which small groups of Neanderthals were forced to migrate southwards to escape the spreading glaciers, with some arriving in the land of Israel about 70,000 years ago. The Nesher Ramla fossils make us question this theory, suggesting that the ancestors of European Neanderthals lived in the Levant as early as 400,000 years ago, repeatedly migrating westward to Europe and eastward to Asia. In fact, our findings imply that the famous Neanderthals of Western Europe are only the remnants of a much larger population that lived here in the Levant and not the other way around," he said. According to Dr. Hila May, despite the absence of DNA in these fossils, the findings from Nesher Ramla offer a solution to a great mystery in the evolution of Homo. How did genes of Homo sapiens penetrate the Neanderthal population that presumably lived in Europe long before the arrival of Homo sapiens? Geneticists who studied the DNA of European Neanderthals have previously suggested the existence of Neanderthal-like populations, which they call the missing population or the X population, that had mated with Homo sapiens more than 200,000 years ago. In the anthropological paper now published in Science, the researchers suggest that the Nesher Ramla homotype might represent this population, heretofore missing from the record of human fossils. Moreover, the researchers propose that the humans from Nesher Ramla are not the only ones of their kind discovered in the region, and that some human fossils found previously in Israel, which have baffled anthropologists for years, like the fossil from the Taboon Cave 160,000 years ago, Zutiye Cave 250,000 years ago, and Kesem Cave 400,000 years ago, belong to the same new human group now called the Nesher Ramla homotype. Dr. Rachel Starrig says people think in paradigms. That's why efforts have been made to ascribe these fossils to known human groups like Homo sapiens, Homo erectus, Homo heidelbergensis, or the Neanderthals. But now we say no. This is a group in itself, with distinct features and characteristics. At a later stage, small groups of the Nesher Ramla homotype migrated to Europe, where they evolved into the classic Neanderthals that we are familiar with, and also to Asia, where they became archaic populations with Neanderthal-like features. As a crossroads between Africa, Europe, and Asia, the land of Israel served as a melting pot where different human populations mixed with one another to later spread throughout the Old World. The discovery from the Nesher Ramla site writes a new and fascinating chapter in the history of mankind. Humankind. Professor Herbert Weber, an associate from Vienna University, argues that the story of Neanderthal evolution will be told differently after this discovery. He said Europe was not the exclusive refugium of Neanderthals from where they occasionally diffused into West Asia. We think that there was much more lateral exchange in Eurasia, and that the Levant is geographically a crucial starting point, or at least a bridgehead, for this process. This is from Tel Aviv University on Science Daily. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support.